Hello everybody, welcome back to It's Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay on the Sea of Chaos Isle. I'm up against BBB Cool Umbrella, who is playing the Greenskins. I am taking the Tomb Kings, and this was a pretty close battle that showcases two of the lesser known legendary lords from each of the factions. Well, not lesser known, maybe just lesser picked. Khalida, the High Queen Khalida herself, and Grimgor Ironhide for the Greenskins. So we'll go through Cool Umbrella's force. Bunch of Spider Riders over this side. Now these guys have got some chevrons pumped into them, so probably a little bit better leadership. Not a bad idea against the undead factions. A couple of Forest Goblin Spider Riders. I believe there may be a couple more in the back. No, it's Durkit Squigs. Front line of regular Savage Orcs. A couple of Night Goblin Archers thrown in, so again can just spread poison where they want. The 8 Peak Loons, obviously with their Fanatics Charge and Unbreakable. And then in the Hero Core here, these are actually Savage Orc Biggins, so a little bit of anti-large here. Grimgor Ironhide, who looks like he has taken the Bloodforged Armor and the Gitsnick. So let's go through his buffs, because he's not, like I said, he's not taken very often. So immune to psychology is good, means he won't be terror routed. But the best of the best obviously is a constant buff with enemy lords or heroes nearby, which makes him a reasonably decent duelist. So extra melee defense and damage resistance. Obviously get back here. The Your Next is obviously the debuff, similar to the little goblin big bosses debuff ability. So again, a good dueling activatable, and then the Gitsnick, which really sends his melee attack through the roof and gives him a lot of armor piercing damage. Most of his base weapon damage, weapon strength, is armor piercing, so it's a nice combat steroid. We've also got a giant river troll hag. Looks like she's just taking Spirit Leech, but she's also got the Odor debuff, as well as the Power Stone and the Mither. So can probably help Grimgor get some good favorable engagements with Mither to slow stuff down and let him get to grips with enemy characters. For my force, pretty elite front line. Some Tomb Guard Hellbirds, the Kepra Guard, backed up by some Nehakara Warriors, and then I've just got some Skeleton Spear bringing up the next rank, and then the Scorpion Legion in the back, obviously with their lovely color scheme and also their poisoned attack. So take a look here at this. Oh, look at these guys. I love them. So dark and mysterious. And I purposely sort of picked a pretty narrow front line, or a little bit more of an elite front line, because of the terrain. We'll go through that in a sec. But we've got the Chosen of the Gods here, as well as some other Ushapti Greatbow, and then a couple of units of the Sneaky Snakes. I didn't have it quite enough to bring the ROR variant, but 2 regular units of snacks. I've also taken a Deathcaster, but I have also taken Purple Sun, so Spirit Leech for character sniping and the like, and then High Queen Khalida. So a couple of she's not a bad duelist up on her snake. Obviously pretty good combat stats, decent enough speed. In the context of the Tomb King roster, I guess. But poison attacks is big for dueling characters, debuffing enemy weapon strength. She's also got the reload skill and missile buffs, which is pretty relevant, because she's going to hang back with the Ushapti before she makes her way out. She's got the Venom Wave, good for just basically getting her out of combats that she needs to. She does have poison attacks base, but if she needs to make some space in a infantry fight and some separation, then that's all well and good. And also Tomb Strike. Pretty important here, because it does allow her to cause terror, as well as the melee buff. So we'll get it underway. Like I said, this map, I don't know if it's the greatest map, to be honest. It sort of forces choke point engagements, which means you can abuse some pretty disgusting sort of army compositions here. But I seem to get this map a bit, and I have had a number of very good games on it. So we're going to be forming up, basically just shutting down the flanks. I am obviously aware that I will definitely be outgunned in the mobility department. So getting my halberds up, spears in the back, not allowing my flanks to be compromised, and then we've got the Snecks and the Ushapti who can tee off on approaching skirmishes. So as you see, some really nice burst damage here from the Ushapti and the Snakes. I have revealed one of those units, but I believe this one is still hidden. And the Chosen of the Gods, obviously with their spray fire, getting some really nice, probably really nice 2-for-1s in this engagement now. So as the Greenskin battle line makes its way towards mine. We will be taking the Kepra Guard up. I am getting a bit of a Spirit Leech on the Chosen of the Gods, so getting some damage in there. Probably won't drop any models, but just spreading some damage over models might allow the archers to get some good shots in. But we are getting some nice return fire with the snakes now. Good damage dealers against basically low armor targets, and 50 armor on the troll hag isn't anything to write home about. So the Savage Orc Biggins, they're probably going to do pretty decently. They're going to trade pretty efficiently into the Nair Kharon warriors, but the Kepra Guard here absolutely pounding down these Savage Orcs. They're going to melt, and now basically I'm just able to basically play it pretty safe here on my flanks and whatnot. Spears are just going to hold. Again, Savage Orc Biggins, not going to be a great fight for them, but basically all this skirmish cav is being held at bay, and he's at the mercy of the Chosen of the Gods, and even the snakes are getting some of their shots in, and you see models being dropped here. Now, Grimgor did get a Spirit Leech earlier, and this is where I decided to come in with Khalida and try and get a bit of a strike down. So Khalida will jump in. She will, another Spirit Leech going down on Grimgor, and the Venom Wave going down. That's probably a little bit of a waste. I didn't need to actually pop that. But the Nair Kharon warriors here have actually seen off the Savage Orc Biggins thanks to some help, I believe, some Overwatch fire from the Ushabti. Tomb Guards holding their position, but the Durkit Squigs do manage to make it round the rear, and they will probably be charging into the Sepulchral Stalkers. Now, they do normally have charge defense base, but with their backs turned, they may actually come in for a little bit of damage here. They are anti-large, and they do have some armor piercing, but they don't have great combat stats. They're not really, you need to really get value from them from their ammunition use. And over here, unfortunately, Grimgor has just gone to absolute pound town on my leader here, Khalida. Big oversight from myself, and Umbrella has taken that early pick, but the Durkit Squigs are being seen off, and Grimgor is very low. So I kind of wanted to, I didn't really want to lose my Lord. I'm not gonna claim that, but a bit of an overextension here from the Tomb Guard. We'll get some shots in the back from the poison of the Spider Riders, but my gun line is at least secure. Grimgor is very low. My Lich Priest is unfortunately getting tracked down by these Savage Orc Biggins, but we're just basically, as we go, trying to rearrange our battle line, form up around the Kepra Guard, who have put a lot of damage into Grimgor. He's also taken a few Spirit Leeches, as we've mentioned, but the skirmishers coming in, just basically, I think at this point, trying to get in combat, and I am rushing through into combat here just to try and muck up their charge orders and ensure that they can't compromise my gun line. Grimgor has been routed by the Kepra Guard. They are an extremely good anti-infantry unit. We'll see them up to 96 kills, but I'm willing to bet they put a lot of damage into Grimgor, and as such will have gotten a lot of value. Turning just to face some routing Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and over here my Sharpie Summon has come down onto the bowline. I know if I can shut down the Night Goblin Archers, it will just mean lack of poison being spread when and where Cool Umbrella wants to place it. I need to pull this Lich Priest out. He is getting Spirit Leech. He is standing in and amongst Savage Orcs and Savage Orc Biggins, and he's fighting completely unsupported. So he's probably not long for this world, to be perfectly honest. I will be trying to use one last ability. I believe I did actually get one last Spirit Leech on Grimgor, so he's very low. And at this point, basically, I'm just trying to make sure the fast cab for the Greenskins keeps bouncing off me. But I do have a pretty healthy unit of Ushabti. The Kepra Guard are fighting on despite the fact that they're crumbling. They may be able to rout the River Troll Hag, but now that the Ushabti coming in, you'd sense they definitely will be able to. 65 Halberds here, 45 Scorpion Legion here, and just the anti-large and general combat ability of the Ushabti is holding them in reasonable stead, but they are starting to get overwhelmed. And as I mentioned before, snakes, you know, the anti-large bonus can carry them a little bit in this kind of fight, but they're all being poisoned here, with Durkit Squigs obviously having poison attacks and the Spider Riders themselves. But the fight is not going great for me at this stage, and I'm really going to have to rely here on a handful of pretty elite infantry, certainly by the Tomb King standards. The Chosen of the Gods have used their ammunition, so they're being committed to combat. But now, basically, my only real hope is to get basically psychology routes down to try and win this now, because there are some Savage Orcs still around. Savage Orc Biggins, in fact, with their anti-large bonus. We've got a reasonably healthy unit of Night Goblin Archers. The Chosen of the Gods have been committed to combat, as we said, but the Great Bows still are online. Dirk of Squigs getting one more final charge coming in. Now, Grimgor is making his way back to the battlefield with 380 hit points left. And you'll see I make a decision soon to try and kill him off to enforce the Lord loss penalty. Kepragard have overchased a little bit here. I really needed to keep them in this fight just to make sure their combat prowess is felt by the Greenskins. But Grimgor does shatter. Hasn't taken any extra damage, just wavering leadership. And at this point, I think maybe there's a chance. The Chosen of the Gods aren't the worst combatants, even though there's only 3 of them left. They do have some hitting power. I still have a little bit of ammo on the Ushabti Greatbow, and I have a reasonably good health unit of Tomb Guards, at least from a model perspective, and their leadership is sort of stabilizing. Kepragard are taking a lot of chip damage from these Night Goblins. They're being poisoned, so they're very slow at the moment, down to 22 speed. Just not going to be able to make it into the fight probably before they start to crumple out. But you never know, we may be able to pull something out here. Trying to get some shots from the Ushabti Greatbow, but at this stage the balance of power is not looking too favourable for me. And the Greenskins have sort of come on with a bit of a second wind here. The Night Goblin arrows peppering down my Ushabti. There is 3 of them left, 2 of them left, minimal amounts of ammo, and the Halberds and the Kepragard now are probably just going to get swamped by this regrouping orcish infantry. And as there's even some of the loons in here as well, the 8-peak loonies, and that's going to unfortunately be army losses. My forces will crumble. Cool Umbrella takes the day. So a pretty cool battle between two I actually think Khalid is actually a reasonably good duelist. I brought her here because I thought I might see Grom. I didn't expect to see Grimgor, but Grimgor landed her a fair bit of a smackdown, to be honest. I sent her in there, and then I took my eye off her for 2 seconds, and Grimgor absolutely pwned her. So 2,200 on Grimgor. We'll check the Kepragard, 1,700 on them, 117 kills. I think they saw off a unit of Savage Orcs as well as pretty much killed Grimgor. I had a number of good Spirit Leeches here from the Lich Priest, so I thought he might have actually done a little bit better, but getting him compromised in the back and just the constant swarming of the skirmish cav and the Spoder Riders just really, I think, just kept my guns from being able to concentrate on thinning the infantry, breaking the archers. We did manage to get them off quite easily, but the Biggins are a bit of a terror in this matchup. There's not a great deal of magic damage on the Tomb King's roster. Kepragard do have some, so they cut through the physical resistance here, but the Biggins getting great damage. They're great for killing constructs, and obviously on the charge will absolutely blend through stuff like Skeleton Spearmans very, 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 very quickly as well. But yeah, a lot of value in the constructs as per usual. The Great Bow and the Sepulchral Stalkers. This one not actually doing so well, but I guess given the terrain, I played a little bit of a castle here. It's not usually how I like to play the Tomb Kings. I've actually been playing... They're pretty much my go-to counter-pick race for Greenskins these days. And I think they actually might have one of the better matchups against the Greenskins, with a number of... given the sort of meta we're in, where trolls are very popular, things like Screaming Skull Catapults and just the various ways that you can actually route trolls effectively as the Tomb Kings, I think, make them a very, very strong counter pick for the Greenskins. But yeah, thanks to Cool Umbrella for the game there. Cool to showcase to lesser picked legendary lords. I do love Khalida. I think I've said it before. She is absolutely my favourite of the Tomb Kings definitely from a lore perspective. But she was convincingly outclassed by Grimgor Ironhide today, and it's good to see him back in the spotlight, so to speak. So thanks for checking out the replay. Until next time, take care.